Good evening. The FBI is investigating former President Trump for potentially violating the Espionage Act. That's just one of the bombshells contained in the federal search warrant for top-secret documents that Mr. Trump allegedly stashed away at his Florida mansion when he left office. Today, at the request of Attorney General Merrick Garland and with no objection from the former president, a judge publicly released the warrant and a list of items FBI agents seized during their search of Mar-a-Lago on Monday. The list includes a trove of top-secret and classified documents, information about the president of France, a handwritten note, binders of photos, and the grant of clemency Mr. Trump gave to his longtime ally, Roger Stone. FBI agents also laid out several crimes that President Trump may have committed to justify their search of his home. Federal investigators say Mr. Trump may have broken the law under the Espionage Act, which prohibits the unauthorized possession of national security information that could harm the United States or help America's adversaries. They say he also may have violated a federal law that makes it a crime to destroy, conceal, or alter documents to obstruct a government investigation. The National Archives has been fighting for more than a year to get Mr. Trump to return all of the documents he kept and brought with him to Florida. He turned over some boxes of records, but just months ago in the spring, a federal grand jury subpoenaed Mr. Trump for sensitive documents that he allegedly still had at Mar-a-Lago. The Washington Post reports classified documents relating to nuclear weapons were among the records that FBI agents were searching for. Former President Trump insists that all of the documents he brought with him to Mar-a-Lago had been declassified. Of course, the President of the United States is the only government official who can declassify information at will. But it's unclear if Mr. Trump ever actually took any action to do so. And the FBI has made it clear that these were top secret and classified records. Danya Perry, now former Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, former New York Deputy Attorney General. Danya, thanks.
Hi, good to be here. Thanks.
These would be incredibly serious violations. Put them into context for us.
Yes, you're exactly right. Before this search warrant was unsealed or was reported in the news, it was believed that the search warrant related really just to the taking and the retention of official documents that should instead have gone to the National Archives. With today's disclosures, it seems clear that the search warrant was predicated, among other things, also on the concealment or retention of national security documents, which carries heavier penalties and, of course, is a much more serious crime. So the agent would have had to swear to under oath an affidavit with the factual bases for believing that these documents existed, that they were to be found on the premises, and that they violated several statutes that are listed on the face of the search warrant. And a judge, an independent magistrate judge, agreed with that and issued the warrant. So yes, these are very serious violations that are alleged here.
The warrant mentions national defense information. So what does that tell us about what gave the FBI and the Attorney General urgency to act here, and whether they were looking for anything specific?
All that we know from the face of the documents that were released from their four corners is that some of the documents relate to national security. I heard your introduction. I understand the president, former president, and some of his allies are already trying preemptively to frame some sort of a defense of, that he declassified them. Whether or not he can wave a magic wand and do so is a significant question, but I think it's a red herring in any event for a number of reasons, including that only one of those statutes relates to national security violations. The others really are obstruction of an official federal proceeding and just the retention of official documents. But even the national security statute that is claimed to have been violated doesn't have anything to do necessarily with the classified documents. The Espionage Act was enacted well before the modern classification system came around.
Does this tell you that there will be charges?
Not necessarily. I'll say in my long experience within the Department of Justice and also defending cases brought by the Department of Justice, yes, there usually is a near perfect correlation between the execution of a search warrant and the bringing of charges. It's the same standard of proof for each. It's probable cause, and that's it. So necessarily, this means that at least a neutral third party found there was probable cause, and a grand jury likely would too. But that is not the end of it. And we've seen with other high-profile cases, including Rudy Giuliani, the search warrant that was executed well over a year ago, no charges were brought. So it's the beginning, but not the end.
And so we wait and see what happens next. Danya Perry, our thanks to you tonight. President